that they have. It's almost unbelievable. Today, Adair will get the start. She has a 0.84 ERA in over 60 innings pitched this season. And when you see a pitcher come into a game with those types of numbers, just staying patient at the plate is out the window because you know that those pitchers are going to be on you early. I think it's perfect for Adair on her season, only one blemish, and this will be her 13th start of Ellie Smith, Allie Disler, who had 3 home runs in one game last weekend for the CMU Mavericks. Ava Fugate is in the 5 spot, Brandy Holler, Nicole Christensen, Ileana Mendoza, and Lauren Wedman round out the lineup for the Mavericks. Defensively for UCCS, Brianna Matos out in left field, Mia Perez in center with Bryn Horton out in right field. Sawyer Brewster at third base, Solana Martinez at shortstop, Morgan Hernandez-Ballou at second with Peyton Reisman at first base. Behind the dish for the Mountain Lions here in game 1 is the usual opening starter in Paige White. Count at the plate 2-1 now as the opening batter of the game, Bradford, steps in.
Bradford with a whopping 10 home runs on the season. A leadoff spot, that's a lot of power.
Absolutely, and these Maverick squads like to, across their athletic department, like to jump on teams early, and frequently around the RMAC, you know that you have to get on top of them early, as this is a fly ball into right center field. Good communication out there between Perez and Horton, and that's the first out of the game.
And that's going to be so important today with the wind and how it is. The outfielders and the infielders are going to have to communicate really well to try and make these plays. The wind is going to play a factor all day.
Absolutely, and the wind is whipping hard in from that left field corner out there, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. The flag out in center field is struggling to even stay on its post. 0-1 at the plate now on Arietta, who steps in. Arietta comes in with a .423 average. That leads the Mavericks. And jumping on her early is Braylon Crenshaw, who's ahead 0-2. Baseball getting underway here at UCCS as well. They have Colorado Christian University over at Mountain Lion Park. We'll keep you posted on those games, throughout our games here across the way. 1-2 now. Crenshaw looks at her card on her wrist, comes set, the pitch, and that's hit well into center field, going back to the wall and watching it fly over for a 1-out solo shot, and the Mavericks have the lead.
And that's going to be Maya Arietta's 3rd home run on the season, and just took that ball to right center. A great piece of hitting from Arietta.
And just like we mentioned a moment ago, these CMU squads like to jump on their opponents early, and you see it there as Maya Arietta takes one deep on Braylon Crenshaw. First run of the game on the second batter of the game. Batter now is Ellie Smith, the designated player for this Maverick squad. The first pitch to her will be fouled away on the first base side. Gets over the screen and bounces down the bleachers over on the UCCS section here at Mount Lion Field. 0-1. Beautiful day here in Colorado Springs, minus the wind, of course. Good pickup by Brewster. Throw in the dirt, unable to handle it is Reisman, and that will likely be a throw. They already have 3 home runs, and we've only played 1 inning in a third offensively for them, as it's 2-2 at the plate now on Ashley Bradford. So clearly they have that ability, and that's part of their game to get behind the softball and really drive it. But 12 home runs in a series, that's nothing to sneeze at, as that's a base hit to center field out there for Ashley Bradford. So 1-out single puts her aboard for Maya Arrieta, who comes up.
And they've now hit 66 home runs, 69 now with the 3-hit today. That is a lot of home runs on a full season for a roster, and they've had 13 players hit a home run on the roster as well.
Just obscene numbers on both sides of things. We've already talked about the pitching for Colorado Mesa, and there's a reason why they're atop the RMAC here in 2022. They're 33-5 overall, 25-1 in the RMAC, which goes against the sport in some ways in my mind. Luck for other teams should get in the way of numbers like that at some point, you tend to think, but that's just how fundamentally sound they are on both sides of the ball for CMU. Ahead, though, at the plate is Braylon Crenshaw, 0-2 here, 1 out. Arrieta the batter, and that's going to be an out recorded for UCCS. 2 outs now as the strikeout comes through for UCCS. The third strikeout of the day for for Crenshaw. First strikeout of the day for Maya at the plate.
Oh, you went the wrong way.
Brings up Ellie Smith, who hit a ground ball over to Sawyer Brewster her first time up. Brewster came up with it initially, but threw it away over at first base, and that makes it... That pitch, makes it 0-1 now on Smith. That one just a bit away. Evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike now. Good to see Morgan Hernandez-Blue out here to start this series as well. Was a little bit shaken up in the series last weekend at MSU Denver. So big part of this Mountain Lion lineup is Hernandez-Blue, and you see it from the offensive. We haven't really seen her defensively yet, but we saw her offensively with that solo shot to lead things off. This one's in the air, should get out of play as it catches the wind up there and will bounce in the bleachers on the UCCS side. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's a good point. That solo home run to lead things off of the Mountain Lions, to answer back after giving up 5 in the first was so important. And there she is making a play.
And there we go, knocking it down again and out at first base. Good job. That's twice now we've seen second baseman on both sides, with Hernandez-Blue doing it for UCCS and Arrieta doing it for CMU, knocking the ball down, staying with it, and getting the out at first base. The Mount Lions throw up an important 0 on the scoreboard after giving up 5 in the first. They look to build on their first inning momentum. They're down 5-1 as we go to the bottom of 2 from Mount Lion Field.
Picking the right college is key. And with one-on-one attention and hands-on experience, UCCS
So after 8 batters come to the plate for CMU in the first inning, Crenshaw responds nicely, and only 4 come up to bat in the second for the Mavericks. Only 1 reaches, and that was the single given up to Bradford. For the Mountain Lions, it will be 6, 7, and 8 due up for UCCS as Adair still works through the first trip through the lineup. First pitch strike in there on Peyton Reisman, who digs in for her first at-bat of the day.
A little note on Paige Adair as well. She was the RMAC Pitcher of the Week this past week, and it is her second consecutive RMAC Pitcher of the Week as well. It is her third of the season and sixth in her CMU Mavericks career.
And you can understand why if you look at her stat line for even just a single second of your time, and that one's gonna be low for the first ball of the at-bat. Reisman steps in, she's batting .289 to start the day for UCCS, and this is the second time of the season that UCCS has hosted the reigning Pitcher of the Week here at Mount Lion Field, as Kylie Hardman came in as in that role when Regis visited early in the season. She followed up that Pitcher of the Week performance, striking out 17 Mountain Lions, and we were here for that game. It was just an unbelievable performance by the Ranger pitcher for Regis up there in Denver. That one's fouled away. Count remains 1-2 at the plate on Reisman as she's putting together a nice little at-bat to start the second inning for UCCS.
And that's what you need to do against a pitcher like this, a dominant pitcher in Adair. You've got to work counts, you got to get her pitch count up, you got to make her tired so that she does make a mistake and you can capitalize on that.
And Adair doesn't make too many, as that one's popped up behind home plate and lands in the glove of Disler, so a foul out to start things here in the second for UCCS. And to your point, it is very important to get that deep into counts, run that pitch count up on pitchers like Adair, because when they look as unstoppable coming in as Adair does, you kind of have to get that confidence within you to be in counts. As that one's bounced, I think either way Geist would have beat the throw even if the play was made over there at first base, so it will be a hit for McKenna Geist as she comes in for UCCS. First time she's gotten a start here at home this season for the Mountain Lions, and she is a one-out base runner on first with the infield single.
And getting hits off of Paige Adair has been really difficult as well. Last weekend in 12 innings, she only gave up 4 hits in those 12 innings pitched, and lowered her hits allowed per 7 innings to 2.61.
Absolutely, and she misses here on the opening pitch to, Brianna Matos, but as we said, the Mountain Lions offensively, they're going to make pitchers work for their outs. They're not going to beat themselves at the plate, as kind of the highlight of that Mount Lion lineup is they are very patient. They pick their pitches that they take a shot at, and you're seeing that here with Adair, but first time today she goes down 3-0, but Adair's going to attack the zone, and the Mountain Lions know that, and being able to waste pitches, foul lots of pitches off, stay in those counts, and see more of those offerings from Adair as the 3-0 comes here. That's going to be on the outside half for strike one. It's important that the Mountain Lions continue that approach.
100%. Totally agree with you there. Especially with she's held opponents to a 119 batting average and just doesn't give up base runners. So that's exactly what you have to do for the Mountain Lions as they work a second walk in this ball game.
Matos goes to first base. That'll move Geist into scoring position. The first Mountain Lion to stand on second base since Morgan Hernandez-Ballou passed through in the first inning. We'll bring up the 9-hole hitter for UCCS and Bryn Horton, and lots of times you'll see her try and play some small ball and leg out a base hit, but here with base runners on, you'll probably see her swing away as that first pitch is in there for strike one on Horton.
She can get some hits. A couple weekends ago here in Colorado Springs, actually, she had a handful of hits in those doubleheaders that weekend.
that one in there as well in the outside half. So quickly way ahead here is Adair, 0-2 now on Bryn Horton. Horton has had things kind of come and go for her at the plate offensively this season, as that one's fouled back to the screen. Count remains 0-2 on her, but when Horton has so many hitters in the Mountain Lion lineup are this way, when she gets going, it really piles on quickly for UCCS here in the 9 spot in Horton. And the 0-2 pitch here, and that's going to be strike 3 on the swing. A nice elevated pitch there from Adair gets Horton to go down on strikes. The first strikeout we've seen today from Adair, and we talked about that high strikeout mark for her earlier. She builds on it here, but really once again speaks to the Mountain Lions' ability to kind of pick their pitches. They've put a lot of balls in play, and that's going to be out number 3, is lining it over to Bradford for the 3rd out is Morgan Hernandez-Ballou. Mountain Lions get 2 base runners aboard, but they strand both of them as Geist and Matos are left on base, and zeros for both teams in the 2nd inning as we go to the 3rd. Score stays the same, 5-1 in favor of the Mavericks. Of the 3rd inning for CMU. To start things off in the 3rd, it will be Allie Disler, who singled her first at-bat on the first pitch she saw. Came around to score on the 3-run shot from Randy Holler later in the inning. Crenshaw back out there for UCCS. Struggled in the first inning, but responded nicely in the 2nd. We'll see how she does here in the 3rd. First pitch to her is going to be high in the air on the edge of the infield. Morgan Hernandez-Ballou, good communication between her and Bryn Horton there in right field. First out of the inning, 1 pitch and 1 out once again here in the 3rd for Braylon Crenshaw. That will bring up Ava Gate.
And that's something you noted as well, is Braylon gets better as the game goes on, and yeah, the first inning wasn't very good, but her 2nd inning was much better and already off to a good start in this 3rd.
First pitch to Gate, going to be fouled back to the screen behind home plate for strike 1. Gate struck out looking on a full count the first time to the plate. That was back in the 1st inning. The first strikeout of the day for Crenshaw was in that at bat. Pitch to her, just misses, and this looked like a good spot to us, but there's a reason that we're behind the line between 1-1 now. Pitch in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike. Defense effectively here in the 3rd is Braylon Crenshaw, has 2 up and 2 down on the pop out and the line out. It's Randy Holler.
And just like that, the wind picks up again for her. Anything in the air right now is probably going to fly out to right field.
That was a soft number right back to Crenshaw. She gathers it and throws a missile back over there to Pete Reisman. An important 3 up, 3 down inning as we see Crenshaw start to settle in, but the Mavericks still lead it by 4 as the Mountain Lions continue to claw their way back. 2 up, it will be Perez, Martinez, and Brewster all going to take their second at-bats, the very least for UCCS in this inning. Perez, her first time up, grounded a 3-1 pitch over to Bradford over at shortstop for the first out of the first inning. Adair fires the first offering there, misses for ball 1.
Another note on Adair with her .84 ERA coming into today. That would smash the current CMU record, ERA record, of 1.62. So she'd have to give up a lot of runs over the rest of the season to bounce or to fall back to that number. So that record is looking like it's going to be smashed.
Absolutely, and this one's going to be on the ground right back to Adair. She'll throw out Mia Perez at first base for the first out of the inning. We'll flip things over to Solana Martinez. And to your point, 67 innings to start the day overall for Adair. She's already gone 2 1/3 here today. The solo shot from Hernandez Ballou was the 10th run she's given up all season long in those 67th innings. Only 1 unearned run on Adair, so when you do score on her, you do most often earn it, as only 10% of the time is it an unearned run for her as her stats stand. But the 0.84 ERA will tick up very slightly as things stand right now in this game, as the Mountain Lions try and hurt it further going forward. But she's efficient, she attacks the zone, and she's going to make you earn it, as we've said, as this one's hit in the air in the infield, and that will be out number 3. So 2 quick innings here in the third for both sides. There's 1-2-3 for Crenshaw against CMU in the top half, 1-2-3 for Adair against the Mountain Lions in the bottom half, and we go 5-1. The score remains to the 4th inning for Mountain Lion Field. So as we start the 4th inning, it'll be Nicole Christensen, Elena Mendoza, and Lauren Wedman due up for the Mavericks here in this inning. Let's see if we get a base runner in the 4th inning, as both sides went 3 up, 3 down in the 3rd. Crenshaw starts things off in the 4th with a low ball as Christensen steps back in. She had a solo shot over there to right center field, her first time up. 1-0, here, the pitch. That one's going to be bounced foul. 1 ball and 1 strike as Brewster goes over to retrieve for UCCS at third base.
And Nicole's home run and in her first at-bat came right after Brandy Howler hit her 3-run home run to make that inning a crooked number.
Nice high fastball there from Braylon Crenshaw. Gets Christensen to bite on it. 1 ball and 2 strikes, as Crenshaw really likes to use that different height of pitches to her advantage. We'll see what she does here on the 1-2 pitch. Outside, looking for a chase. Tried to paint it a little bit there, but misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes now.
And a really good pitch there, like you said, looking for a swing and miss. And Nicole Christensen doesn't bite.
2-2 pitch. That one's going to be bounced foul again. Count will remain even at 2. Big day of sports here at UCCS is also underway. Is the baseball team across the way. They're playing CCU. We'll get you an update from that game here in a moment. That one's going to be high. Count is full now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. pitch for Crenshaw is looking like she's feeling okay is Christensen, as she'll walk things off over there at first base. Hit by pitch puts her on first.
Definitely hit her up high. Couldn't tell if it was her shoulder or her face, but I think it was the top of her shoulder. She kind of tucked enough for the ball to hit her shoulder, and so not the most fun place to get hit by a pitch by any means.
Absolutely not, but good to see that she's looking okay, as opening up here with the strike on, Mendoza. Bunt, squares around, runner goes, safe at second base. Close play over there as Christensen, it's a little bit of a glutton for punishment, trying to swipe a bag after getting hit at the plate. Always a gamble whether or not you get shelled over there from the catcher when you steal a bag, but gets her hand in, as it was a good throw from Paige White behind the plate, made it close. A nice swim move underneath as she's safe. That one's high for ball one on the plate on Mendoza.
And that's just being an athlete. You know, you get hit by a pitch, almost hit in the face, and what do you do next pitch? You steal base as well now.
This one's going to be bounced up the middle. Looking back, a nice job there by Crenshaw to turn around and look back the runner Christensen at second base, so she'll stay put. One out here brings up Wedman.
Yeah, very heads up. That's something that pitchers are coached to do, is to make sure you check on that lead runner, because you're going to have time to make the throw over the first.
So Christensen stays put at second base, and the first pitch there will miss for ball one. An update from Mount Lion Park, almost the polar opposite of what we're seeing here. It's 2-5 in favor of UCCS as Colorado Christian visits Colorado Springs at Mount Lion Park. All of those runs also scored in the first inning, 2 for CCU, 5 for UCCS. So kind of a mirror image of what we see here over there at softball. For students here at UCCS, they're also having that baseball tailgate event over there. As a comebacker back to Crenshaw. This time she'll let Christensen move up and record the second out at first base, as Wedman does run well, the right fielder for CMU. So good job not wasting any time, especially now with 2 outs. If you get a ground ball, you go across, and that run doesn't count at third base. So we'll flip the lineup card back over as Crenshaw will begin her third trip through the lineup. Bradford leading things off. Flew out to right field her first time, singled her second time, but was stranded in the second inning. She was the last runner to reach base before the hit by pitch to start the inning off this time around. Takes for ball one on the first pitch. Second pitch misses as well outside. 2 balls and no strikes. And for all of you baseball and softball fans, we wish you a happy Jackie Robinson Day here on April 15th.
Very important day across baseball and softball, with what he did for both games, allowing people of color to play at the highest level.
And a ground out to third base ends the inning as Bradford rolls over on one to Sawyer Brewster. We'll expand on that Jackie Robinson thought when we come back. It's 5-1 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning from Mountain Line Field. Back here at Mountain Lion Field, as you take a look over there towards Pikes Peak, Mountain Lion Field. Leading things off for the Mountain Lions, Paige White, Peyton Reisman, and McKenna Geist, the three due up. It will be 5, 6, and 7 in the lineup for UCCS. And back out there on the mound is Adair for CMU, as why not, the way she's pitched all season long, not only today. She has given up 2 hits in the game, which is obscene numbers for her. But gets strike 1 to go against Paige White. And to pick up our thought from the last half inning, Jackie Robinson-Day will, if you watch any of the Major League Baseball games, all of those players will don the number 42 on their back, as this one's rolled foul down the third baseline. Rookie Rothbauer Stubbs, the head coach for the Mountain Lions, unable to come up with it in the third base coach box. But a very important day for the sport, as we've mentioned, and they named 42nd Street in New York, I don't know if you saw that, Jackie Robinson Way this morning, as the commissioner of baseball, Robert Manfred, was there in New York, and a really cool tradition for baseball, and to do that every year.
It's a momentous day to remember one of the greatest players to ever play the game, but also an icon that's allowed the quality of baseball to grow as well.
And a beautiful play there by Bradford at shortstop to get Paige White over at first base, as White does move well, and she got up the line quickly, but a quick release over there at shortstop retires her. That will bring up Paige Reisman, who fouled out on a pop-up behind the plate her first time up.
And one final note for me about Jackie Robinson-Day. I know both of us played baseball at our own levels, and you know, he's affected us in so many ways without us knowing it. So, you know, thank you, Jackie, for playing, and you know, the Jackie Robinson Foundation is great as well, and thanks to them for keeping his legacy alive.
Absolutely, and today is the 75th anniversary of the year that so 75 years ago today was the day that Jackie broke the color barrier in baseball. And to your point, personally, not only, obviously, I've never played a Major League Baseball game.
Neither have
I. But even at the lower levels of baseball, some of the greatest friends I've made in my life are baseball players that I had on my team of color, and just so cool to see how that has evolved over time, and great that was able to get done 75 years ago, and that they continue to celebrate it to this day. It will be, Brianna Matos now to step in McKenna Geist, as I'm trying to catch back up on my scorebook, to step back in for UCCS. She takes for ball 1 high, as the pace of this game moving quite well, as on first base is Peyton Reisman.
Yeah, the first inning combined was long, and now every inning since has been, you know, not 1, 2, 3 innings, but very quick, you know, getting through the innings.
Yeah, the only 1, 2, 3 inning we saw from either side was last inning in the third for both sides. Continued with that 1, 2, 3, a hit by pitch to Christensen, the only batter for the Mavericks to reach base in the top half of this inning, but very, very efficient on both sides after that big first inning for both teams. That one fouled back for the first strike. 2 balls and 1 strike now on McKenna Geist. And good to see Geist, who hasn't seen the batter's box very much this season, to really take advantage of this opportunity here today. 2 and 1 at the plate on her with 1 out.
And getting that single, the really difficult to get a hit off of Paige Adair. So yeah, good to see her getting some at-bats in the designated player position.
That pitch from Adair in that kind of unhittable spot there inside at the knees, very hard for lots of hitters to get to that spot, as they have to pull their hands in quickly. Evens the count at 2, and nice pitch on the outside half. Gets her to go down swinging. A strikeout for Adair. Only her second strikeout of the day, and once again, that kind of speaks to the Mountain Lions' ability to continually put the ball in play.
And that's props to Coach Rothbauer Stubbs preparing her lineup to, attack Paige Adara early and hopefully get some hits out of that. And so far, it's worked pretty well.
Absolutely. And the Mountain Lions, who last year, kind of as we mentioned UCCS baseball earlier, baseball had a program year last year. They won their first RMAC tournament, have really struggled and ultimately, to bluntly put it, underperformed their roster this year over on the baseball side of things. So they're having a good start to their series here against CMU as another strikeout to end the inning, and we'll pick up this spot. But kind of a flip-flop between the softball and baseball programs this year for UCCS. We'll pick up when we come back in the in the top of the fifth inning. Back at Mountain Lion Field to start the fifth inning, the Mavericks still lead 5-1. No run scored for either team since that first frame. And to pick up our point from the end of the last inning, as the first pitch here is going to be in there on the inside half for strike one on Arietta, who leads things off for the Mavericks. The softball team for UCCS struggled last year, didn't make the tournament. They really had a very similar lineup to this year, as that one swung through for strike two, and baseball exploded, beat the perennial tournament winner in CMU last year to win their first RMAC tournament. And this year, the softball side of things really putting it together very well. They're going to be right there in the middle of the mix for the RMAC tournament this year for softball, and it's baseball who's struggling and kind of trying to live up to the preseason potential that was put on them, and good to see for, obviously tough to see for the baseball side of things, but good as a nice pickup there. And throwing out Arietta at first base is Solana Martinez with a 6-3 put out, but good to see from the softball side of things for UCCS.
Yeah, definitely. And in the conference, 17-11 coming into today. I believe the top 6 teams make it to the conference tournament, and they're sitting in 5th place pretty safely right now. So good for the Mountain Lions. Hopefully they can keep it up over these last couple of regular season weekends. The
last few seasons for UCCS, as the first pitch there is going to be fouled away for strike one. The batter is Ellie Smith. The COVID shortened season in 2020, the Mountain Lions right basically at 500, 10-13 on that season, 17-25 last season, so they've already eclipsed that win mark as they sit on 19 wins in 2022, this season. So already an improvement, which was evident, we'll say, through the season already for UCCS, but good to see them continue to build on that as the season progresses still.
Yeah, definitely. And as the years go on, when Coach Rothbauer Stubbs gets to work with these younger girls for 3-4 years when they become juniors and seniors, this is the product that you can get, an above 500 team, and maybe can make some noise in the conference tournament.
That one's going to be in the dirt, evening the count at 2-2 So the Mountain Lions certainly going to try and make noise in the RMAC tournament this year. As you look at Bryn Horton, had a very good year, has she over in right field for UCCS. 2-2 at the plate. That one's going to be fouled back. Count will remain. And if you want to be the best in the RMAC, the age-old term, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best, and the best team, of course, is this Maverick squad, and they've really, since the first inning where the engine, we'll say, was slow to start for Braylon Crenshaw on the mound. They've looked pretty evenly matched with the Mountain Lions have, I should say, with the Mavericks since that first frame.
Yeah, you take that first inning out of the ball game, and it's a 0-0 game. So they're keeping things up. Braylon Crenshaw is pitching well, even though she just gives up a walk, but she's been pitching well. She's gotten better as the game goes on.
And since that 5-run first inning where 5 runners came to bat, all of them came around to score. The other 3 batters who came up in that inning out of the 8 that reached ended up getting set down, as we're going to get a pinch runner here for the Mavericks. It's going to be Brierly Avina over there to jump in on the base pass. But since that big first inning, there's only been 3 Mavericks to reach base, 2 of them, 1 hit by pitch, that was Nicole Christensen, but last inning in the 4th, and the walk here in the 5th. The only hit given up since that first inning was the single to Bradford in the 2nd, but lots of outs in between for Braylon Crenshaw. She's behind 1-0 here, as stepping in is Allie Disler, who has a single back in the 1st. Throw to second base is going to get her on the tag. Great play and a nice throw by Paige White to catch Brierly stealing, I should say. And for Avina, that is her first time all season long. She was 10 for 10 in stolen base attempts to that point, now 10 for 11 as the first time she's been caught stealing this season. 2-0 at the plate, so I imagine Smith will re-enter defensively for the Mavericks, designated player. She'll probably come back up to bat next time around, but her being the first base runner, I should say, goes for naught as a caught stealing. But once again, another walk issued by Crenshaw as Disler goes to first base. We'll see if Paige White can follow that up if she tries to steal again.
Yeah, just a perfect throw from Paige White and a perfect tag from Hernandez Ballou, the player on second base.
That one's going to be hit well into the outfield. Over to make the play, though, is Mia Perez for the for the 3rd out of the inning, as the 2nd out was that caught stealing. And that will end the inning and the threat for CMU. Once again, 5 runs in the first inning for the Mavericks, 1 run in the first inning for the Mountain Lions is all we have seen all day long. As we go to the bottom of the 5th, the Mountain Lions look to continue to chip away. Back here to start the bottom of the 5th inning from Mountain Lion Field, due up for UCCS. It will be 9-1-2 as Bryn Horton will step in to lead things off here. And we talked about how Braylon Crenshaw has settled into this game quite nicely throughout. The only blemish on the day for, a dare for CMU was that leadoff home run from Morgan Hernandez-Ballou, and that was the first at-bat of the game.
Yeah, exactly, and yeah, definitely.
And first pitch ball here for Bryn Horton. Only 5 Mountain Lions have reached base throughout this game, as that one's going to fall in there for strike one on Bryn Horton, 1-1, and much more of a even performance, as Crenshaw gave up the really big inning in the first inning, and that tipped the scales towards that in terms of her performance, but very even throughout the day for Adair. Or excuse me, as we now have a new pitcher.
Looks like it's Ellie Smith.
It is Ellie Smith, who is the flex player and standing on first base and legging out an infield single. There is Bryn Horton. As we've mentioned, she can get up the line very well. Ellie Smith also for CMU, nothing to sneeze at. She's got a 1.36 ERA on her season. She's pitched 92 and a third inning overall, but gives off a leadoff single, so that one's gonna be offered out on the bunt attempt by Morgan Hernandez-Ballou. So strike one to her here in the fifth. Hernandez-Ballou 1-for-1 with a line out over to Bradford at shortstop, and then that solo shot that we mentioned a moment ago to lead off the game. 0-1 here, the pitch. Check swing. Yes, she did. 0-2.
What's incredible also about this pitching staff, they are number 1, 2, and 3 in opponents' batting average in the RMAC conference. And on top of that, they are all 3 in the top 4 in ERA.
So that'll be the first out of the inning, as going down on strikes is Hernandez-Ballou. Moves her to 1 for 3 on her day, brings up Mia Perez. Perez still looking for her first hit, has a pair of ground outs, one to shortstop, one comebacker. The comebacker was in her last at bat, I should say, back in the third inning. She takes for strike one that to open this at bat. And some numbers on Ellie Smith to finish her introduction. We mentioned the 1.36 ERA. The pitch here swung on and missed there, as the count now 0-2 on Mia Perez. She's 13-2 overall in decisions on her season. Her 22nd appearance is today. She's started 11 games in that time, has gone 10 complete games, so only one start of hers didn't go all the way. Nice quick release over there at third base from Christensen, gets Perez at first. That will be the second out of the inning for UCCS, brings up Martinez.
It's kind of crazy. You only need 3 pitchers to get through an entire season. You know, you have 2 girls start and you have 1 come in and relieve, and it looks like Ellie Smith today is coming in to close out this ball game.
The Mount Lions only have utilized 4 pitchers, with Crenshaw, Rutkoff, Rayburn, and Cronin on their season, and Cronin has been used quite a bit less than the first 3 mentioned pitchers. But I mean, another insane stat line as another pitcher comes in Smith. She's pitched 92 in a third innings overall, only given up 72 hits in that time, 18 earned runs, only walked 24. I mean, you can just go on and on about these numbers. Batting average against 211, and all 3 pitchers, with the only pitcher we haven't seen yet being Shea Mauser. We'll probably see her in game 2. She's got a 191, and that's the worst ERA of the staff.
Is it really worst? It's like the least best. It's like, that's the best way to put it.
Exactly, yes. But absolutely, like, what else do you say about this pitching staff? It's unbelievable. The overall ERA for their pitching staff is 1.40. They're 33-5 overall, and I mean, we could just sit here and talk all day about the pitching staff for CMU, but I mean, even for the Mountain Lions, their pitching staff has by no means been poor across their season. They've got a 4.9 ERA combined this year, which in the RMAC we talk about anything around 3 to 5 is effective in how many runs are scored in this conference, and the fact that all 3 of theirs are below 2 is just obscene. But a ground out will end the inning for the Mountain Lions. We'll put our pitching talk to rest for a little bit here as we go to the 6th inning. CMU still leads by 4. Going to be Brandy Haller to lead things off for CMU in the 6th inning. She is 1 for 2, the 3-run shot in the 1st inning, her only time reaching base. Update from baseball, they now lead, the Mountain Lions do, 8-2 as they put up 3 more runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. They are still in the bottom of the 3rd inning, only 1 out, 2 on with Macaulay Sarah on 3rd and Jaden Hegman standing on 1st base with 1 out. The batter over there at baseball as, excuse me for a moment as it went away on me, the batter is Kichi Sato in the top of the lineup in the 3rd inning over at Mount Lion Park. 2-0 the count back here at softball, and quickly 3-0 here on Haller as Braylon has a slow start to the 6th.
The scoreboard doesn't quite show how well Braylon has done today. She's pitched a really great game, not a lot of traffic on the bases, just the rough 1st inning, and you know, it's just tough how softball and how baseball goes.
Absolutely, and one bad inning, we'll say, is all it takes, and a 4-pitch walk to open things up to Brandy Haller sends her with the leadoff walk to first base, brings up Nicole Christensen. Christensen is 1 for 1 overall, was hit by a pitcher last time up, and this ball is crushed. Yeah, see you later. That's going to be over there towards that 2nd fence, right at the base of the 2nd fence behind our regulation one here, and a 2-run shot. Those leadoff walks can really come back to bite you, and you see it here as Christensen has her 2nd home run of the day, her solo shot in the 1st, being the 1st of the 2, and the Mavericks putting up 7, lead it by 6.
I'd be curious to see how many of these are earned runs as well, because there was the error in the 1st inning that allowed 4 of those runs really to score after the error.
We'll have to check on that as time goes on.
Yes.
First pitch to Mendoza in there for strike 1. Mendoza is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out on her day as Crenshaw goes back to work after the home run. Foul ball at the plate, 0-2.
Looks like that may have caught Paige White on that foul tip. She seems to be okay. The umpire gave her time.
And the umpires and catchers have that kind of unspoken understanding between each other that if one gets hit, the other will kind of take a little walk. Maybe if it's the catcher, go get a mound visit. And usually when the umpire gets hit and the catcher goes out to talk to their pitcher, that mound visit doesn't get counted against them, as it's just to give the umpire time to collect themselves. And a good strikeout there is going down, swinging is Mendoza.
And a good bounce back from Braylon after the 2-run bomb from Nicole Christensen, coming back with a good strikeout.
The 4th strikeout overall for Braylon today, the first since the second inning. She had 2 strikeouts in the first, 1 in the second, but haven't had one since then. First pitch as Wedman stands in is a strike. That one's going to be bounced over there to Hernandez-Ballou. She'll move across, and just in time there. It was a close play at first base, but a 4-3 put out as Hernandez-Ballou gets rid of it quickly to get Wedman, who, as we mentioned before, moves well up the line.
She was moving down the line.
2 outs here for Ashley Bradford. No one on for the Mavericks after the 2-run shot from Christensen brought home herself and Brandy Haller for runs 6 and 7 in the game. First pitch here on the outside half of the plate, called strike 1. And Mountain Lions not quite in that mercy rule category here. 8 runs after 5 in the RMAC. He is a mercy in softball. No mercy rule on the baseball side of things, and many around the RMAC call that the Colorado Mesa rule because the CMU baseball team puts such big numbers up that mercy rule was taken out a few years back when they were just mercy ruling every other weekend, it felt like. But the mercy rule stays here in softball as the Mountain Lions try and avoid that here today. Behind, though, is Braylon Crenshaw. 3 balls and 1 strike on Bradford. Bradford overall is 1 for 3. She's got a ground out, a fly out, and a single. The single was back in the second inning, though she was stranded on first base. And that will be a walk for her, sending her with 2 outs to first base.
Wonder how many more home runs CMU would have, because I imagine they probably had a handful of mercy rule games.
We'll see if I don't see anybody up for UCCS in the bullpen, so I imagine this is just a conference on the mound, and Crenshaw will continue to roll. As Shea Mauser did get up and throw some pitches in the CMU bullpen, the only of their pitching staff we have yet to see in this game, but they'll talk things over, and it will be Crenshaw that will go at Maya Arrieta. Arrieta has a home run. That solo shot opened the scoring in the first inning. She is 0 for 2 since then with a swinging strikeout and a ground out. First pitch to her, misses for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch high. 2 balls and no strikes now. The first time Crenshaw has really seen adversity since that first inning. Couple of walks last inning, but none came around to score as that one misses again. 3 balls and no strikes, is starting to struggle here. Maybe some fatigue starting to play a factor, but you do see Crenshaw go complete game distance quite often for UCCS, so it can't be that big of a fatigue factor as that one's in there for strike 1.
This may be her last batter. If she gets on base, there is a Mountain Lion warming up in the out in right field. I can't tell who it is.
Hard to tell from our vantage point, but a ground ball, and coming across is Martinez, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning. So we'll see if Crenshaw comes back out for the 7th inning for UCCS. For now, it is her game. She's on the wrong side of things, though, as CMU still leads it. They get 2 more and expand on their lead. They lead it 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. innings and a run, which was earned. That was that solo shot to, Morgan Hernandez Blue back in the first inning. 4 strikeouts for Adair and 21 batters faced. Back out there for her second inning of work is Ellie Smith.
Sawyer's been a little quiet today. I would want to see her do something in this situation to get the Mountain Lion offense going.
She's such a vital part of this Mountain Lion lineup as she's ahead 2-0 as that pitch misses low as well. Brewster leads the way coming in to the day in batting average. This one's bounced on her back foot.
Yeah, off the bag.
Safe off the bag as over there at first base is Fugate.
I could see that from here. Her foot came off the bag.
Yeah, I was kind of hesitating there for a moment because I couldn't tell whether or not she was on the base. She was definitely stretching and it was close, but first base umpire gives her the benefit of the doubt as first at bat, the Mountain Lions get a base runner here in the 6th inning, an infield single from Brewster. The second time she's reached, she walked her first time up, so that single makes her 1 for 2 officially on her day. Brings up Paige White, also a very dangerous batter for UCCS. She'll bounce this one over. This could be 2. There's 1 on to first. Double play, and that erases both batters for UCCS on the 6-4-3 dual killing for the Mavericks. So the somewhat controversial call for at least the Mavericks fans near us thought so goes for nod after the double play from White.
You know, there's an old saying in baseball and softball, the ball don't lie.
It certainly does not, and certainly seems to even the scales after all is said and done. That one's fouled down the third baseline. As standing in now is Peyton Reisman. She is 0 for 1 officially. She was hit by a pitch her last time up in the 4th inning. Fouled out on a pop-up behind the plate. Fell into the glove of the catcher Disler her first time up. 0-1 on her this time around. The pitch, that one misses inside, 1-1.
Double plays really take the momentum out of a game, and that's just not what the Mountain Lions needed.
Absolutely, and we'll update you once more on the baseball team here at UCCS. It's still the 3rd inning as there's only 2 outs in the bottom of that inning. Walker Rumsey at the plate with the runners, or the bases full of Mountain Lions, I should say. Another soft grounder over to shortstop, and all 3 batters ground over there. Only one gets to stay, but a 1-2-3 inning it ends up being. But anyway, to continue my point, they just now finished that 3rd inning at Mountain Lion Park. The Mountain Lions put up 7. They lead it 12-2 over there on the baseball side. We'll be back for the 7th inning when we return to Mountain Lion Field. It's going to be Ellie Smith to lead things off. Designated player turned pitcher for CMU, as a very good two-way player for the Mavericks. No reason not to take her out of the lineup. And the
Ow.
first pitch to her is going to send her to first base.
Looked like it hit her in the hand.
Well, and she, in terms of batting average, has a .343 average and 102 plate appearances. She's got 35 hits, scored 17 runs. So when you're batting .343 and pitching .136, there's no reason not to get you in the game any way you can. But the hit by pitch sends her to first base to start the final frame here for the Mavericks offensively.
Looks like that'll be it for Braylon.
And indeed it does, as we're going to have a pitching change here from Colorado Springs. So we'll step away and we'll get some numbers for you, as it looks like it's going to be, excuse me.
It's Mackenzie Rutkoff.
It is Rutkoff, yes. So Rutkoff will come on. We'll step away. Pitching change in the top of the 7th inning from Mountain Lion Field. Back here at Mountain Lion Field as we get our first pitching change on the UCCS side of things. It is Mackenzie Rutkoff who relieves Braylon Crenshaw. She'll be making her 15th appearance of the season so far. Only 2 starts for her, so this will be the 13th relief appearance for Rutkoff. She comes in with a 4.28 ERA. She's pitched 34 1/3 innings, given up 41 hits for 24 runs on her season. Struggles early as she delivers 2 balls, as the batter now is Disler. Final line on Braylon Crenshaw. She goes 6 innings, gives up 6 hits, 7 runs, but only 3 of which are earned. And you mentioned that earlier, as the error led to that 3-run home run in the first. Ended up with lots of unearned runs there. 4 walks for Crenshaw, 4 strikeouts. She faced 29 hitters through 103 offerings in her day. 2-1 at the plate now on Allie Disler. And that evens the count at 2-2.
That definitely makes the day look a little bit better for Braylon. Her day isn't quite done with her having the runner on first base, but at the very worst, she'll only have given up 4 runs today.
She is the pitcher of record for UCCS, and that goes off the foot of Disler. So back-to-back hit by pitches here to start the 7th inning for 2 different pitchers for UCCS, and that will bring up Fugate.
Fugate looking for her first hit. She does have a couple of really hard hit balls, though. A line out to right field and a line out to center field.
Only 3 Mavericks have yet to reach in this game. Fugate among them. The other 2, Mendoza and Wedman, in the 8 and 9 holes at the bottom of the lineup, also 0 for 3 on their day. This one's hit out of play, foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Excuse me, 1 ball and 1 strike. Rutkoff, kind of that first reliever for UCCS, as that one she you could tell held on that changeup a little bit too long as it flies high out of the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Good pitch.
Yeah, very good pitch. Is swinging over top of that one to even the count at 2 is Fugate. The ouch that she recorded her first time up, a looking striker first time, a line out to right, and then a pop out to center. This one's going to be a line out to center, so returning to second is Smith, and returning to first is Disler. And that will probably end the offensive day for Fugate as she comes up empty once again. Another line out, and especially on that one, and her line out over to Bryn Horton back in the 3rd inning. Good pieces of hitting, but just hit it right at Mountain Lion defenders.
Yeah, and that's just very unlucky today.
First out of the inning for UCCS here in the 7th, as that one's fouled away for strike 1. Oh, 1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. One. High, 2 balls and 1 strike. Two-one pitch on its way.
Oh,
that
boy.
One's hit well, and this one looks like it's going to get up and out, and it does. And a mistake there from Rutkoff, and another 3-run jack as Haller has her second 3-run blast of the game. Her first one came back in the 1st inning, and that's 6 RBIs on the day. 3 runs scored herself for Brandy Haller.
6 RBIs. That's a lot. That's a lot for anyone.
That's a lot, and the Mavericks continue to pile it on here, and the Mountain Lions in the bottom of the 7th inning. Doesn't really matter at this point, being the last frame, but will still count as a mercy rule in the stat room for UCCS, so they need to score at least 3 to avoid that or at least 2, I should say, if they get out of this inning without any more runs scored from the Mavericks, to avoid that mercy rule designation at the end of this one. Nicole Christensen steps in for the Mavericks. That one's high.
The biggest thing that these top teams do is they take advantage of mistakes. You know, we saw a couple of hit by pitches to start off this inning, and once again, Brandy Haller taking advantage of the mistake.
That one's going to be in there for the first strike of the at-bat. 2 balls and 1 strike, and absolutely, and when you have the pitching that we've gone on and on about today for CMU, you can't give up runs to their offense if you want any chance, because really it's going to have to be a 1-0, 2-0 game in your favor to be able to beat this Maverick squad. But just really only a couple pitches here or there difference, and this is a 4-1 game, 3-1 game. Instead, it's a 10-1 game in favor of the Mavericks. Full count here, 3-2 on Christensen. Rutkoff will take a look at her wrist card and fire the payoff pitch high, and she'll go to first, does Christensen, and another walk for UCCS.
This is definitely a good time to settle her down, know that she's at the bottom of the lineup right now and needs to attack these hitters, get a couple of ground outs, get out of this inning, and let the Mountain Lions try and chase 9 runs.
A a big mountain to climb for the Mountain Lions, as not an insurmountable lead for the UCCS offense, as we've seen them put up big numbers before, and that's going to be a bunt attempt, and it will fall foul, but kind of a slug bunt there attempted from Mendoza at the plate. She, as we mentioned before, looking for her first hit of the game, falls behind 0-1. She has a pair of swinging strikeouts and a comebacker. 0-1 pitch to her, swung through. 0-2. Good fastball.
I wonder if there's an unwritten rule in softball as well. Up by 9 runs, trying to put down a bunt. I wonder if there's any unwritten rule there as well.
I certainly couldn't tell you, as I have never played a softball game, but 0-2 pitch high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. But I imagine that could be a playing factor here. 1-2 at the plate here on Mendoza. And that's a big strikeout. And going down with her 3rd strikeout of the day is Mendoza. First strikeout of the day for Mackenzie Rutkoff, who came in relief after the first at-bat of the inning from Smith. That'll bring up Lauren Wedman, also looking for her first hit of the game. She has a comebacker, a ground out to Morgan Hernandez-Ballou at second base, and a ground out to Peyton Reisman at first base. So that right side of the infield certainly on alert for this at-bat. Excuse me, it actually is a pinch hitter in this spot here for CMU. It's going to be Riley Crouch that steps in. Crouch is .419 on her season from the batter's box. She works ahead on the first pitch here as she takes for ball 1. Crouch has 31 at-bats in her season. Has 13 hits in those, 13 hits in those 31 at-bats. 1 double, 2 home runs with 9 RBIs overall for the pinch hitter for CMU. Behind here, though, 1-2, the pitch there, outside and high, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Seems like she's often used in the pitch hit situation. She's played in 23 games, but only has the 31 at-bats, so it seems like she's someone that comes in late in games to get a couple of at-bats.
2-2 pitch here, and swung on and missed. A big strikeout there for Mackenzie Rutkoff, and a good one on the fastball as she gets back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning and the threat, but not before damage done once again by the Mavericks. A 3-run shot by Brandy Haller gives them the 9-run lead. The Mountain Lions need at least 2 runs in the bottom half of the inning to avoid the mercy. We'll see what happens when we return to Mountain Lion Field. Back here for the final 3 outs the Mountain Lions have to work with, unless they are able to score precisely 9 runs and extend this to an 8th inning. Seems unlikely against the staff of CMU, but it'll be Geist, Matos, and Horton due up in the inning for UCCS. Geist will lead things off, and she takes for an outside ball to open things up.
This is a perfect showing of the CMU pitching staff. Not a lot of strikeouts today. As we mentioned, the Mountain Lion approach at the plate was to put the ball in play, and they sure did, avoiding the strikeout. So props to the Mountain Lions in that category. Just next game, need to score a few more runs.
And that one's going to be a fair ball down the right field line. So a leadoff single here in the 7th, and a good start for the Mountain Lions, who try and put together a late push here. Geist stands on first, and that will bring up Brianna Matos with one on and nobody out. Matos so far 0 for 1 officially, as she walked her first time up, then struck out swinging her second time. That was in the 4th inning. Takes for ball 1 to open this at bat. That one misses as well, 2-0.
It's a little bit of momentum.
That one's going to be on the ground. Chance for 2 again. There's one on to first, not in time, as Matos gets up the line well, but a fielder's choice for her, as the lead runner, Geist, is erased at second base. Bryn Horton definitely also has great speed at the plate, does Horton. We'll see, I imagine, here in a 9-run game that Matos isn't going to try and move up on the base paths without a ball in play. First pitch, though, at the plate to Horton, outside for a ball. (1-0) outside again, 2-0. As Rothbauer Stubbs gives some directions from the third base coach's box, and this one's going to be lined down the left field line, going off the glove, of Bradford, as that one skips into left field. 2 singles in the inning, and the Mountain Lions have a runner in scoring position as Matos goes station to station now at second.
That ball was hit really hard. It got past a couple of diving Mavericks there.
Absolutely, as looked like they would at least have a play, but sneaks through both of them. Hernandez Ballou steps in, takes for strike 1 on the outside half to start her 4th at bat. Pretty good day when you're 1 out in the final inning and only 1 batter up there for the 4th time. This one's going to be bounced through the middle and up for a base hit. They're going to stop Matos at third, so bases juiced here for UCCS, and that will bring up Mia Perez. Little by little, the Mountain Lions work on it here in the 7th.
And that's smart not to send Geist home in that situation. You don't want to make it out at home plate in this kind of a ball game. You want to play it safe on the bases, try and chip away at this lead, because you're still down 9 runs.
Absolutely, and first pitch now to Mia Perez, fouled back to the backstop. Perez looking for her first hit of the day, or a couple of the Mountain Lions who came up already, being Matos, and really only Matos, I should say, had reached but didn't have a hit to that point, as the only time she had reached was on a walk earlier. That was back in the 2nd inning for Matos, but she gets on the board offensively, getting a hit. 0-2 here, though, for Mia Perez. She's got 3 ground outs in her 3 tries. 0-2. Outside, good eye there. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Just a quick correction as well. That's Brianna Matos on third base because she hit into the fielder's choice and Geist was out at second base on that play.
You are correct, as the single to lead off the inning led to that fielder's choice. 2-2 at the plate. Solana Martinez waits on deck if she gets a turn. 1 out as long as no double play is had, and that's going to be foul. Certainly could have been an easy double play there, going to the plate first for Christensen at third base if that was a fair ball, but it does go on the wrong side of the white line for the Mavericks. 2-2, the count remains. The pitch here, that's going to be grounded foul once again.
Staying alive in this at bat.
And Perez very well into the battle here with Smith on the mound for CMU. The pitch, that one's low as well. Count is full.
Definitely a big pitch for the Mountain Lions. Still not a ton of pressure on the pitcher, Ellie Smith.
And that one's outside and walking in a run, so definitely an earned run there for CMU. Brings home Brianna Matos, and that will bring up Solana Martinez. 1 out, 1 run in the inning for UCCS. Bases still full of Mountain Lions as Horton now on third. Hernandez Ballou moves up to second, and Perez takes the spot on first.
And now the big bats are coming to the plate for the Mountain Lions. Maybe a real chance at chipping away at this lead.
10-2 the score now after coming home to score was Matos. Mavericks will call out the defensive play from their dugout as Rothbauer Stubbs gives Martinez her sign at the plate offensively. First pitch to Martinez misses, ball 1. That one in there as well. 1 ball and 1 strike. That one's going to be bounced right back. They're going to go to the plate, go to first. That one's up the line. Down and into scores Ballou. Around third is Perez. She'll score as well. Going to third and standing in safely is Martinez. So they do get 1 out at the plate. On the force out, as coming around to try and beat it was Bryn Horton.
Should go down as a fielder's choice with an error on the catcher, allowing the runs to score.
Absolutely, and the error being on the throw. 1 out is recorded, but since that out recorded, it doesn't count as a hit for Martinez, but throwing that one all the way down the line. So Martinez does get to stand on third, 10-4, so it will not be a mercy designation at the end of this one for UCCS. That one will be low as well. 2 balls and no strikes.
Really feels like now a couple of plays earlier in this game and it's a different score, and maybe it's a tie game right now.
Absolutely, and we mentioned as just a few pitches here or there go differently for UCCS, and that one would be different, or the score I should say would be different here. Smith tries to end it. That one, a little bit of a generous frame there, but getting the call behind the plate is Disler, so the count moves even at 2-2. Brewster always dangerous, 2-2 inside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Although with 2 outs here, you don't want to leave the final out to choice of the home plate umpire. You got to be sure it's out of the zone. And that will end it for UCCS as the strikeout comes through for, Sawyer Brewster. But the Mountain Lions, with a little bit of a late push, make it respectable at the end of the game. Final score of 10-4 in favor of CMU. That moves them overall 34-5, moves the Mountain Lions down to 19-18, just a single game over 500 for UCCS overall. 17-12 now for the Mountain Lions in RMAC play. 26-1 for the Mavericks of CMU, as they are just red hot and they keep moving without even really much of a sweat until that last inning for CMU.
Yeah, definitely. And we got a great example of why this team is so dominant. The bats at the plate, the pitchers on the mound. That's what Maverick baseball, or softball is pitching, withholding base runners, and scoring a lot of runs.
And we joke around the athletic department here at UCCS that CMU is the Alabama football of the RMAC softball conference. So certainly see that continue to be the case here today. We will have another game, though, upcoming between these two teams, as UCCS and CMU are scheduled to play one more. My name is Jake Ross, alongside Michael Newman, for all of our crew, everyone in the truck and UCCS athletic department. We say thank you for joining us for game 1. Don't go too far, though. Here in about half an hour or so, we'll have the second installment of this doubleheader between the Mavericks and Mountain Lions before too long. We appreciate your time here with us at Mountain Lion Field, and we will see you in a few minutes. We say so long for now from Colorado Springs.